bright today. I'm back at the greenhouse today and I'm working on a project that I probably should have tackled a few weeks ago, but honestly, with the cold weather that we just had this weekend, I'm actually glad that we waited because I'm not sure how much it would have been affected. If you've been following along, you know that a few weeks ago, or maybe even a month or two ago, I can't even remember, I scored a lot of roses and I've been keeping them in the greenhouse ever since, and they have been greening up really great. I was gonna tackle this project last week, but I'm so glad I didn't. I think the roses would have been fine if I planted them outside, honestly, but because they've been in the greenhouse and we've been hitting like 70s, closer like high 70s during the day outside. So inside the greenhouse, it's been at least like 85, probably closer to 90 degrees if it's not opened and the air is flowing. These are all of the rose bushes and look how green they are getting. I mean, they're looking so good, so healthy. Before I get started on planting these, I wanted to give you the specs on these roses. I pulled a couple out over here. The first one is the Bolero Rose. And this one is the one that I already have in the landscape. It is just absolutely magical, the scent on this. And both of these are the Floribundas. So I don't know if you can tell the roses, but they're just these beautiful layered blooms. These will have kind of a pinky color in the center until they mature and then they'll whiten up. So all of the roses in the landscaping are all white. The other roses that I have out there are the icebergs. So the Boleros work very, very well. These are a very like short rose. They're maxed out at I think 4 feet. Let's see if we can see that somewhere. 3 to 4 feet high and 2 to 3 feet wide. So they're gonna stay relatively like low, but they just smell so good. Like these are right outside at the greenhouse. These are the ones that you see right underneath the trees outside on both sides of the stairs. Now the other rose that I have here is the top cream. I've never grown this one, but I wanted to try it. This one's gonna be a little bigger. I feel like this one's 6 feet tall. Let's see. 6 feet by 2 to 3 feet wide. So this one's gonna get a little bit bigger, but I'm curious to see with the pruning that I do how big it actually does get. I only have I think 3 of these, so I'm gonna plant those a little bit farther away, but I've got, gosh, I think I counted 22 of the Bolero roses. So I'm gonna get those planted. But I mean, look at this growth. Like, look how much is already happening on this plant already. Like, it is loving the greenhouse temperatures, let me tell you. Let me get these all the way up the hill and then I'll show you where I'm gonna position them. Okay, I laid out where all of the roses are gonna go. These are the river birches that I have in here, and then back there are the white cloud millie grasses. And back here, I wanted to keep it to where I can have some more space. I kind of wanted to do maybe some underneath of these river birches with something different, and then maybe, I don't know, like a flush of grasses or something. We'll see what foam puts in the design because I'm not fully sure yet, but that's what we have. I did plant these pretty close together, but I would rather them grow into each other, into a little hedge all the way out here. I think that'll just be really beautiful and fragrant whenever you first walk in right here. I'm gonna be digging these in with trench and shovel and pull back at the mulch with the digger. I'm gonna use this bag of starter fertilizer. Let's dig these. A quick little demo on how I'm doing these. The mulch that we put down just a few months ago, we put down a really thick layer on purpose. So if you see whenever I'm digging all of this back, why it's so deep, just know that that is on purpose, and that is so it breaks down and becomes really organic matter. This ground is very, in areas it's very compact clay, so I'm trying to amend it the best I can, and our solution is to use wood chips and allow them to break down over time. So keep that in mind if you think that there's so much mulch. I'm very aware. Greg, what are you doing? What are you doing? You gonna say hey? You gonna say hey? First thing that I'm gonna do is dig the hole, and I'm actually just gonna pull back all the mulch, and then I'm not digging too deep. I'll take this one apart so that you can see. The roots on this thing are very immature, so I'm not even gonna try to disturb them very much. Not like what you would find like a bare root rose. These have not been very seasoned. I mean, just doing this, like I could tear apart all of this and it's just gonna fall apart. I'm gonna try not to do that, but well, here we go. Oh, it's happening. So this is the rose that we've actually got. It is not gonna be a very intense rose. I believe this looks like an on-root rose. This does not look grafted to me. If this was a grafted rose or an on-root rose, I'm going to try to bury it up to this union point right here. You can see where this big nodule is. I'm gonna try to plant it at least at, or even bury it a little bit deeper. It's just better to plant those a little bit deeper. Totally not what we would do for any of our regular plants. Normally we say plant them high, but for roses that's a little bit different. You want to make sure you plant it at least at or even a little bit higher than that union spot. All right, let me go ahead and dig this hole. All right, I don't want to dig it too far. I'm just gonna put this original soil back in here for a second, just to hold this up. Then I'm just gonna put a couple of scoops or handfuls in of the Biotone starter fertilizer. This is just so it gives the roots a really good start. And I actually have a bucket full of organic topsoil that is just really good dirt that I'm going to put in actually around this to give it a little bit more. Because there's so much mulch here, I want to make sure it stays very insulated, so that's why I'm going to add some more dirt on top of that, or in the hole, instead of just filling it back up with mulch. There we go. Pat it down just a little bit. Try to get as many air pockets out as possible. And then I'm just gonna rake on some more of this mulch. Not trying to get it too thick around the base. I don't want it to choke anything out, but just enough to insulate. Okay, there we have it. Now, if you're planting a lot of these like I am, I like to try to get as much of the digging and the big work out of the way before I ever start planting. That's a key. If you feel overwhelmed with doing so many plants at the same time, if you have a large quantity but it seems daunting, all of our installations, this is what we do. Dig our holes all together. Then we come in and clean the holes out. Then we will unpackage all of the roots, put them in the hole, and then we do all of the topsoil or filler. We'll add that in next, and then we're on our hands and knees planting. Once our knees hit the ground, our energy is gone. I don't know if that's just me trying to preserve energy or what, but I do find that that is so helpful, because this is the easy part. The hard part's digging the holes, you know? just finished up, and that project wasn't too daunting. Honestly, I'm very grateful that I have the skid steer here to move that dirt, because that probably would have been the most time consuming part. But you ready to see this? Oh my God, I'm just like daydreaming about all of these. They're gonna look so good whenever they're all in bloom. I love it. I got them all in the ground. What I still have left to do is I need to pull an irrigation line and put all of the emitters next to all of the plants, but that is not a project for today. And then after that, what I will do is I'm gonna come back with some mulch dye and dye all of these wood chips to be darker and look very rich. I think it'll make the soil look rich and healthy and make the white blooms pop against it too. I think it's gonna be great. I think today was successful, and I am so excited. I did not have time to plant those 3 top cream roses, so those will be planted on a different day. And honestly, what I'll probably do is plant those 3, and then I need to go back through and do all of my pruning on all my existing roses. So I have a bunch of icebergs that need to be pruned. They're already leafing out for this year, so I need to get on top of that, and hopefully I'll get to that this coming week. Hopefully I'll put that on the schedule. So yeah, this was fun. I'm glad that we got this project done, and I'll see you in the next one. I cannot wait to show you this spring though. I think they're gonna be, oof, magical.